Hello and welcome to Mouseless Browsing. My name is Ruof Nui. I'm the man behind Mouseless Browsing, and I want to give you now an introduction in the next couple of minutes into the details of Mouseless Browsing. So let's start with the basics. But before we start, this on-screen display has nothing to do with Mouseless Browsing. It's just for your visual feedback that you can see what I'm entering during this session. So let's start. To trigger an action, that is, to follow a link, to focus and form element, you have to type in the ID displayed behind the corresponding link. So for example, if you want to go to documentation, you have to press 5, and half a second after you've entered the ID, you follow this link. You can configure this basic behavior in two ways. For this, you have to open the configuration dialog. You can do this by just clicking on the Mouseless Browsing icon and the status bar. This basic behavior can be configured in two ways, or customized in two ways. The first thing is that you can disable that the action is triggered automatically. So if you tick off this checkbox, then you have to press enter after each ID to trigger this to trigger the action. The second thing you can customize is the delay after which the action is triggered automatically or the key buffer is cleared. By default this is half a second, but maybe this is a little bit too short for you, so let's make it to 1.5 seconds. So let's go back to Mouseless Browsing. I can type 3 and I have to confirm it now with enter, and now the action is triggered. If I put in another ID, nothing happens. Yes, because I haven't confirmed it. I haven't confirmed it by enter. So let's put everything back, and we can go on to the next topic. Let's come to one important question within Mouseless Browsing, that is, what happens if your focus is within an editable field like this text box here and you want to enter an ID. Mouseless Browsing cannot know if you want to just enter a number or if you want to enter an ID. So to handle this, you have 4 options. The first one, which is the only one which is enabled by default, is that you just press the control key while entering the ID. So the focus is within the editable field, I press the control key, and let's assume we want to go to advanced search and press 26, and everything is fine. Let's go back. That was the first option. You can change the modifier key to press in the config dialog here on the second tab of ID types. Here you can choose modifier keys for enabling IDs within editable fields. By default this is the control key, and you can change this to something else. The second option is, and we can let the config dialog open because all the 3 other options you have to configure something. You can configure a shortcut to blur the active element. By default no shortcut is assigned. I always assign the escape key for that. And now if I want to enter an ID and I'm within the editable field, I just press escape, the focus is gone, and now I can press 26 and everything is fine. So that was the second option. The third option is that you can configure a shortcut key to block the keyboard input for Mouseless Browsing completely. Let's assume we take control space for that, assign, okay. So I'm within the editable field, I press control space and then 26 and nothing happens. That's great. I think I was too slow. So now it's alright, because the keyboard input is only blocked as long as the configured delay for auto execution or clearing the key buffer. Okay, so if you configure only half a second, the keyboard input is only blocked half a second. So the last option you have you have is that you can use the numpad exclusively for mouseless browsing. If you tick on this checkbox, the input of the numpad is exclusively processed by mouseless browsing. So now I can go to advanced search by just typing in 26 on the numpad and everything is fine. You can still use the other numbers on your keyboard, so I can enter 26 if I use the other numbers and not the keypad. So these are the 4 possible options to handle entering IDs within editable fields. So let's come to some other basic features of mouseless browsing. The first thing is that you often want to open a link in a new tab, and you have 2 options to do that. The first option is that you hold down the Alt key while entering the ID. So let's open this link in a new tab, press down the Alt key and type in 32, and it's opened in a new tab. The second option is that you can press the Add key immediately after you've entered the ID. This Add key is so-called postfix key. So I press 32 and the Add key, and the link is also opened in a new tab. You can also open links in a new window. For this you also have 2 options. The first one is you press down or hold down the Control key and the Alt key and entering the IDs. So now a new window is opened. And the second option is you press the divide key as the postfix key. So enter 32 and the divide key, and the link is also opened in a new window. All of this is configurable in the configurations dialog. The modifiers are configurable on the second pane. These are these 2 entries, and the postfix keys are configurable on the last pane. These are these 2 entries. Mouseless browsing has also some special IDs. The first 2 special IDs are those for focusing the search bar, the address bar, sorry. This is the 0, and the second is the one for focusing the search bar. This is 00. If you have opened multiple links, the tabs also have special IDs. So the 01 is the ID for focusing the first tab, 02 for the second, and so on. If you open more tabs, every tab gets its own ID. You can hide this ID by open the context menu and say show tab IDs, and then they are gone. But the tab IDs are still in place, so we can still change the tabs by entering the ID, but they are not visible then. Let's make them visible again. Mouseless browsing is not limited to numeric IDs. You can also configure character IDs out of a self-defined character set. For that, you have to open the config dialog, go to the second pane and choose Use Self-Defined Character Set for generating IDs. I've already entered some characters, confirm that, and now the IDs are generated from this character set. There's one big drawback using character IDs, and that is you can't use the modifier keys for triggering certain actions like open links in a new tab or a new window. The reason is quite simple for that. Pressing the modifier keys in combination with characters would heavily interfere with the standard shortcuts of Firefox. Therefore, I've deactivated that. This is the end of the first part of my video tutorial about mouseless browsing. See the second part for the more advanced features. Thank you.